Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. Try to make a bit of space here, messy workbench, always busy as you know. We've looked at this not long ago, which was the VFC G36C. I did a bunch of videos on it. It was like they were coming out in, in series. So we did the initial unboxing. The second video I took the restrictors out the nozzle, and the third video we did a Jaeger test on it. The first video launched. The VFC G36 community were very angry with me, but they were yet to see the consecutive videos that came out. So once we took the restrictors out, the gun performed much better. And in the Jaeger test, which all the VFC community thinks is a stupid test, but they think it's a stupid test, but they still watch the videos. It did really well, and I sung its praises. It was very, very good, and I was actually quite impressed with this thing. So what I wanted to try out is because a lot of people, or what I've been reading online, I found a lot of posts saying that these accept real steel handguards and such like that on some parts, and they're meant to be RS spec and this, that, the other. And rather than just reading it, I thought, I'm going to find out for myself. So I went and bought a very expensive Spur G36 rail. This rail's not going to be for everybody. I wanted to do something vastly different with this. I wanted to make it look a bit more futuristic. This I bought from Spur. I think it gets sent from Sweden. This was in UPS jail for like well over a month. They asked me for the documentation to send over. I sent it over. They asked me to send the documentation over, and this went backwards and forwards constantly. And then I rang UPS up, and they were like, "Is there any restrictions on this parcel?" They were like, "No, no restrictions." And then the following day, UPS had called me and go, "There's restrictions on the parcel. We need to sort it out." So I've been pulling my hair out with this. These rails are very expensive. So for something like this, buying it from Spur, the advertised price I think is like 450 euros, so it's expensive. But the reason why I picked this up, because I was on the fence, I was like, oh, you know what, it's just a bit too expensive. If you go on their website and you look at it, it's like 440 euros, as an example. I can't remember the exact figure. But then if you actually read the description, if you order it, you get like 50% off. So it's only like, I think it was like 197 euros off. So I was like, oh, in that case, I'm just going to order it because I think it's really cool. Gives you some QD points. You've got all these little thread sections for rails, which I'm hoping we can maybe get some of the Clutch Precision M-Lock parts, because it looks roughly about the same distance between these two screws as here. So it would be nice to get like maybe the M-Lock panels on there and Clutch Precision. There's quite a few things I want to order from Clutch Precision, but it's either pre-order or out of stock, because they do their little rail sections, which I want to get as well. So, but yeah, this is a rail, and we're going to take a look to see if this VFC G36C version 2 is RS spec, and I don't think it will be, but we're going to give it a go. So this actually comes with a pin that has like stoppers on it, but you can actually pull this out. It's got two little ball bearings in here, which are held in by these screws, which are capsulated, so you can switch it round to either side if you wanted to. And I can already see an issue. So it looks like the profile of this for the real G36C is a different profile to this polymer here. And we could probably get round that. The holes look like, the holes for the mounts look like that you could probably just force it up a little bit to get it to fit. The problem with this is we can't force it down enough, because you have a little slot here for this this part to go into. So you've got this slot, and you've got this little metal piece here on the handguard, which is far too wide. So if you can see this here, I'm going to try my best to show you. So it's not going to fit in because it's far too tall. So what I think I'm going to have to do, there's two ways to do this. We can either modify the plastic, or we can modify the rail. This should fit up a little bit better, but the curve on the receiver of the G36 just isn't quite right for the curve that's on the handguard. This is a RS, you know, real steel part. It's real steel spec. It's not meant for the airsoft gun. But yeah, do we modify the plastic or do we modify the rail? That is the question. Plastic would potentially be easier to chop out, maybe. This one's going to be a bit difficult because if we remove material from here, the only real way we can do that is like with a Dremel and grind it out. But I really like this handguard. What I'll do, if I remember, I'll put up a picture on the screen of one of these fitted, and it keeps the C length. You know, a lot of people out there are K fans and they like the extra barrel and stuff. I just think this is going to make it a little bit unique. I can't imagine a lot of people have these. I know there's people selling 3D files of similar things on Cults, and that's the way I was going to go, because I initially found this on Cults 3D of someone doing like a 3D print copy of it, and I was like, what actually is that? And then just searching through Google, found the actual manufacturer, ordered it. There was no problem sending it, just UPS sat on it for an eternity. So that's the direction I want to go in with my G36. Whether I'm going to get that fitted or not before we do further stuff on this gun, like I want to run this in the gauntlet to see how it does. The main issue with the G36 from my standpoint is a lot of my gear is catered towards M4s. I can get away with the Agilite multi-cal pouches, getting AK mags in the M4 pouches because they do allow for that. I don't know if it's going to do it with the G36 because obviously you've got these lugs. They stick out a fair bit. Something in future I want to look at when Clutch Precision releases it, they're doing like an M4 mag adapter so you can use VFC M4 mags. So yeah, I've also been on the fence of buying another VFC M4. The problem with it is I'm very much an MWS collector, if you want to say. I've got over 20 MWSs. They all perform as and which I need them to. Some have their little nuances here and there. VFCs, however, if I go to some of the suppliers' websites, if I try and order like a VFC URGI 14.5, at trade price, they're like £560. It's just, they're astronomically expensive. The only way I can probably do it or stomach it is maybe getting one from Hong Kong and getting it sent over. But before we get to VFC M4s, there's other things that I want to look at. I want to take or want to get, which I might be ordering today, who knows, the VFC UMP 45. I've always loved the UMP 45. I've had multiple of the Double Eagle electric ones that, you know, over the years, just having them as little fun guns. We built them for a police event we did the once where we were running these mags and it was really good. Downside to the UMP, the mags are really big. The further downside to the VFC UMP 45, they did the UMP 45 and the 9. The 45 looks so much better than the 9, so it's the one you're going to go for. But you got this huge mag and they only hold like 20, 25 rounds. So not the best in terms of mag capacity. But yeah, don't expect a quick turnaround on this getting fitted, because it's going to require some modification. I want to do it in the cleanest way. So it's a case of, do we modify the gun or do we modify the rail? The standard handguard doesn't need that notch in the receiver, but the last thing I want to do is modify this and weaken it to a point. But it is going to be much easier to modify that to get that to fit than doing the metal and messing the metal up. So I actually didn't know there was a metal sort of internal structure in there. It's pretty cool. So yeah, leave that with me as and when I can get round to it, because I'm so busy. You guys, I know, get in touch with me all the time. There's a few people that aren't quite as patient. Some send me messages on the Discord. I got one on Friday that was sent to me on the Friday. I was away the weekend. I also went to 6mm Airsoft because I was sort of like on the West Mids Airsoft stand, just socialising. And I get back and then this guy's like gone off on one because I haven't replied to him in 2 or 3 days. So I am, if I haven't you know, responded to your messages straight away, just knowing the fact that I'm very, very busy. I have a full-time day job. Jaeger Precision's a second, almost full-time day job, which I don't get anything from it. It's all going back into the company to produce more things to give to you guys. So Jaeger Precision doesn't pay me a wage at all. The videos on top of that, and, you know, trying to keep everybody happy, it's a lot for one person to do. So just give me the benefit of the doubt. If I don't respond to your message in a couple of days on the Discord, just ping me a reminder, and I'll get to it as soon as I can. Thanks for looking at this video. Unfortunately, this won't go straight on, but now you know. Like I say, you can get these from Spur. It will require some modification. Once I've figured that out and done it, I'll be back on video to tell you how I went about it in case you want to do the same. This is a very odd rail, so I can't imagine many people would do that. The link for the Jaeger Precision Discord will be down in the description below. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, comment down below what you think of this rail. It's always appreciated. But for now, from me and Bench, we'll be seeing you in the next one.